Da 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 da. All right. So yeah, yesterday I was able to stream a whopping 7.5 hour long demo of how to create a G2 character. I was able to complete the project within that time frame. And in all honesty, it would have just taken anywhere between 2 and 4 hours if I would have just been working on it and not actually streaming or talking while or interacting with people while I was working on it. So I know the process itself is really not that bad. I mean, it shouldn't take that long. But during that process, I basically I got motivated again to go back to 2D animation and 2D work, and I figured, you know what? I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna create a really high quality character and showcase and like really show off the power of the G2 character structure. These are multidimensional, resolution independent, true vector based characters. Okay, and I want to show that off, and I'm gonna make a really good high quality rig. And I was thinking, well, what kind of rig would be better, or at least make it worthwhile to actually do this as part of either an experiment or, to make it worth my time to actually take my time to do this. So I'm gonna do Santa Claus, and we've got 2 months between now and Christmas. If I work on this a couple hours at a time, little bits here and there, take my time with it, not rush it, I could have something really nice to put out there before December, which should give anybody else who grabs this character enough time to make their own Christmas themed animations and stuff. And okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I guess I'll make this part of an ongoing series that you guys can keep up with, and I'll make a little playlist and stuff, and yeah, and you guys can see the whole process, and hopefully it motivates people to really consider the use of G2 characters as opposed to all the new stuff that they've been throwing for the last few years that is really irrelevant for people who actually want to do creative work in cartoon animators. So this is not for hobbyists and stuff. This is something for true developers or people who want to do deep creative stuff that's original, not just the drag and drop stuff. So here we go. I mean, I've laid out my canvas, 2,500 pixels wide by 2,000 tall, and I placed a little divider marker at the 1,000 pixel mark. This should give me the height that I need as far as a guide. I'm just gonna start sketching ideas. I don't know where this is gonna go, but I do know that I want to end up with a Santa Claus, and I'm not sure how long it's gonna take me. I'm not gonna put a time limit on it. It may take me a couple of days. It may take me a whole month. We'll see where the journey takes us. So let's see here. Da-da-da-da. I'm not sure where to start. I'm gonna start with a basic. I'm thinking I should do the rather than focus straight on into Santa Claus, I should focus on making a Fat Man rig. That way, the rig itself can be versatile and it can be used as a template maybe for creating big fat characters. That could be something. So that's not a bad idea. So we'll call it the Fat Man rig, I guess. Yeah, you know what? I like that idea a lot better. So we'll start with a skull. Crazy talk. Cartoon animator requires a neck, but I really hate using them. It's just kind of distracting. And a big fat man like this doesn't really have a useful neck that can be used for articulating body parts. So we're gonna give him a small, narrow chest region with a huge belly. Yeah, we're gonna make the belly here, and then the shoulders kind of arch to the back. Now we do have to keep in mind that we have to arch out the shoulders enough to give clearance to the arms as they swing around and stuff. Otherwise, we end up with some popping of sprites as they cross through that belly and stuff. So those are things that we're gonna tackle and stuff as we work on this. You know, I might be able to just kind of put a rig together really fast, but the actual character, I'm gonna take my time with it. So the hip is going to be like back here somewhere. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't think this is going to work by putting the hip down there unless I make that belly part of the hip. So we'll see. Maybe the legs could be shorter. Just kind of blocking out shapes, just trying to get an idea. And I'd like to try out some different drawing styles, not just something that's convenient for the joint structures. Joints can usually be done like, or the typical joints is like along a circle, and then you do the bottom joint as some kind of bucket against a socket type of thing, and you have this item rotate around the other item or the other way around. Typically that's the best way to work, but there's also a traditional technique that uses curves for joint regions, and it involves joining things at the joints like this. So I might actually use that technique to kind of get the joints connected like that rather than along the traditional circle thing. We'll see where it goes. You know, I'm still not sure. So I'm gonna play around with different techniques, different things, and I'm actually right now I'm motivated. You know what? I might actually lose my motivation later on and not finish this project. Anybody who's watching this and comes in either while I'm live or when this is off the air and actually wants to motivate me to finish this, then by all means I encourage you to do that, because that's going to encourage me to continue working. Let's see here. I got a new nib for my stylus. It was kind of getting a little dull and smushed around and stuff. So my particular tablet that I use is the Dell Canvas 27. I've had this for about 5 years. It's a workhorse, a beautiful drawing surface. But it's no longer on sale, so it's been discontinued. So buying parts for it and stuff is not exactly easy. Just by coincidence, I have some carbon fiber rods, 2mm carbon fiber rods. Width is 2mm width. That I purchased for some hobby, like kit buildings type of stuff. And I got the idea to just kind of sand it down, the width, to make it fit within that little hole of the stylus. And I sharpened it and I cut it down to about the right size. And now I actually have probably the best stylus tip that I've ever had. I mean, look at this thing. I can draw fine and I can go thick. It's really nice, and it feels like pencil or something. I guess the carbon fiber has like a graphite type of feel to it. So I'm really loving it. I wonder why they don't commercialize this type of thing. But oh well, necessity um, creates, I guess, powers creativity, right? So the structure for the head, I mean, because this is going to be a Santa Claus, I guess it's not going to be too much of an opportunity to play around with draws and like mouth type, because his face is going to be covered with a beard. But I would love to experiment with a built-in skull that has the teeth in place like that, so that when he talks, those upper teeth never move, and the only teeth that move is the teeth that are attached to that jaw. That would be that's something I've kind of played around with in the past, but never quite pushed. And I'd like to get back to doing something like that. I don't know how I would be able to implement this on this type of character though. I know I don't want him to have a neck. I want him to be kind of like hunched over, because he's gonna have like big shoulders. Um, ooh, it's I'm getting kind of like Hodor vibes from this character. That might be another character that can be built off of this template, I guess. It's something like a Hodor. These legs should definitely be shorter. Maybe something like that. It's a cool thing about Flash and Adobe Animate, you know, you can manipulate your artwork very easily. You always want to create your characters roughly 1,000 pixels tall. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up slightly, because all this junk basically when it comes to vector art, and I do have a really good system and everything, but I hate basically having all these vectors and things being used, because they do take a lot of processing and memory and stuff. So I could either optimize this and it'll make it a little bit less, but I'm gonna trace over it with a little bit less lines. That way I can get rid of that layer and just kind of build it up. Autosave function kind of annoys me. I may have to go with like an invisible hip region. It's a little bit more streamlining. I want it to have a very recognizable silhouette as well, and that's kind of a hallmark of all good cartoon characters. Strong silhouette whenever you see them, even if it's just in two colors, you know. Double chin type of situation rather than a neck. Maybe I'll have some kind of ears a little bit above the eye line. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. I mean, some of these features are not really supported very well by Cartoon Animator. I think this might work. Modify shape, optimize. We'll delete that bottom layer. Trying to achieve some kind of symmetry. I can either focus on the head, which makes them even wider than expected, or focus just on the belly symmetry. That gives me a decent little thing. Alright, I'm gonna use those two as a guide, and once again optimize the tracing here, the little draft. It's almost like in-betweening. I take the best out of those two lines right there and just create something in the middle. And that gives me the absolute average between the two drawings. So for this, so I'm gonna keep this arm here. I'm gonna keep this arm. So I'm getting a nice little round moon type of situation. Now we're gonna average out the head. That should do it. Now let's get rid of these two. Okay, yeah, I'm getting something. Something is definitely starting to show up. Legs have to be big enough to articulate, but small enough to be nice and chubby. So technically this bone needs to come straight down. So I need to find a way to shift this like that, like straight down in a way, while still retaining the bent leg or the bow-legged. I think it'll work. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we could play around, because I'm probably gonna have to do a modified rig with like invisible sprites and stuff in order to pull that off. That neck is going to have to be like from here to like here. It's gonna have to be like invisible, just a basic circle or something. Okay, let's kind of try to visualize the actual rig itself. Extensions, puppet producer. We're gonna launch the experimental mode of puppet producer and grab some. I think this is what I need. I haven't used this in so long. I don't even remember full functions. Yeah, that's the one I need. So it gives me a little placeholder for my joint regions. Hey Sphinx, how's it going? Yeah, I try to make like a general base, like a general outline and stuff, and then I lay out, like when I'm really doing this for like for reals. I try to get my joint regions worked out. Like this is gonna be the arm, like the shoulder. So these are just kind of prefabricated joints that I've kind of put together. It's just a basic symbol, like a flash symbol, a movie clip. So that's gonna be the shoulders. And now I'm kind of visualizing the elbow region. And by doing this, I'm also able to kind of see it in action before I actually do any artwork and like any actual like serious, put in some serious time into this. How you doing? So you left yesterday really quick. I was gonna ask you what are you guys what were you guys dressed up as? Yeah, flash. I mean, SWF basically means shockwave flash. So even if people don't want to use that format, um, it's still there. I was playing around with Cartoon Animator, and I was able to make the comparison between the formats that it supports now. Of course, the image, the SVG format, and yeah, even though they completely erased it from the documentation, they still support SWF files. And when I was comparing them, the SVG format gets really freaking blurry once you zoom into it too much, like a lot, to a certain level. I don't know what a lot is, but to a certain level, you zoom in on it, it gets really blurry. They got some kind of weird bitmaps caching thing going on. So, so Flash format is still king. And yeah, any program that can create Flash format, the Flash format should still work. Inkscape, all of those programs. I think they can still export SWF. SWF format is actually, I mean, not a lot of people know this, but it was made into a sort of like an open source format. It was made available to many companies, and that's why companies like Reallusion were able to produce this type of program that actually uses it without having to pay licensing fees. So you got three kids, Encanto, Supergirl, and the son that was a creature that you won't say. Though I have finished my short yet. Okay, he was dressed up as a character from your short film. I think that's gonna be my hip. Goat man. Was that no, I was watching something on was it Netflix or YouTube? I can't remember, but in some neighborhood, no, that was a leprechaun. That it was like a black neighborhood, and everybody kept seeing a leprechaun on a tree somewhere. Never mind, never mind. I'm tripping. Something else. See, and this is the problem. Like with this leg, I have this giant joint region here, and this middle joint region here, and the two joint regions themselves are overlapping. So that already will most likely create some kind of issues. But it also means that I can't necessarily get that stubby leg that I want. I'm gonna try it anyways. I'll take a risk with it, see what happens. I'll make that joint and that joint the same size. Okay. I would say that was very unsafe for the leprechaun because I'm sure they would be forcing him to show them the end of the. Yeah, I have no idea how that story ended up. I think it was just some like mentally unstable person that was on a tree at some point or something. But everybody kept saying it. It's like a mass hallucination. They said there was a creature out there.
Well, just in time for St. Patrick's Day, crowds are coming by the dozens to get an up-close view at what some say is a piece of Irish folklore.
Some people in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun has taken up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community. Many of you bring
Mobile,
binoculars,
Alabama.
Camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
So we ain't look like a leprechaun to me. All you gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun? Say yeah!
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears. This signature sketch resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks like. Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories and explanations for the image.
There is casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead, but got on the wrong stuff. And it told me to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
We're gonna get down to the bottom of this. Yeah, still on there, guy. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, man.
Oh my god. No, that's not a sketch. That's a real thing. Oh man. Oh jeez. It's actually out already. I made a drunken rant last night. It's probably still up there. I was playing around with something. I don't know what it was, but I accidentally clicked on the Reallusion Hub, and I saw that it had the trial available, and so I went in there and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so then I looked at the page, at the Reallusion page, and of course, no, they didn't have it up yet. So I figured maybe somebody messed up. Yeah, last night, I got drunk during the stream. Oh man, and it was like I kept like to myself. I kept building myself up this anticipation thing where It was like, oh shit. I mean, I hope they didn't break the SWF support. And I'm like, I need to go get a drink before I try this. And I just kept going. But yeah, I figured, you know, they were either getting ready to release it and maybe somebody screwed up and released the trial a little early. Or they were just getting ready to release it and they were starting with the trial on the hub first, and then they were going to switch the page. And sure enough, this morning I saw that there was the actual product available. So yeah. So I got to play with it. It doesn't really have anything new per se that is relevant to how I work. You know what? Nobody came to ask for candy at my house last night. Maybe they think I'm the crazy cat lady guy or whatever, whatever you call it. It was very quiet in my neighborhood last night. Nobody really came to trick or treat, or if they did, maybe I just wasn't here. Because after that long ass stream, live stream yesterday, I took a break and I just went out and went driving for a while, and I didn't come back till close to 9 or something. Yeah. Wow. I put that in right where it's supposed to be. Without any guidance. Wow, okay. So that's, I got a torso, I got shoulders, I got arms, hands. I need a placeholder for the head and the neck. We'll be able to kind of visualize the actual rig without actually putting too much work into the creation aspect of it. Okay. So F8, this is going to be the neck. Hit F8, this is going to be the face. Copy, Control Shift V. Hit F8, that's going to be the torso. And that's going to have the point at the bottom. And because I made a torso, I'm going to delete these two. Control Shift V. Move that to the bottom. So hit F8. That's going to be arm left. Forearm left. F8. Hand left. F8. Arm right. forearm right, hand right, and okay, this one's gonna have to be cloned. Duplicate symbol. And inside of this, it's going to be an actual hand. And this is going to be swapped with the clone. Okay, so now we need the hip. F8, hip. F8. Right leg, F8, right shin, F8, right foot, F8, left leg, F8, left shin, F8, F8, left foot. All right. I think we got ourselves a rig structure. Let's rig it. There's our torso, arm, forearm, hand, neck, and face. We're going to take this nub here and push it outside of the body just to be a little safe. And okay. Let's test it. Let's see how it works. Let's see how it looks. They're completely sweeping under the rug the G2 characters, but they accidentally put in one of the Buddy Bunny things, which I know is a G2 character, so we'll use that as our base. They thought they were being slick. So with that character as a base, we're gonna grab the SWF file from here. Santa, whoops, that's a SVG. Control Alt Shift S. We need a flash file, and we'll import it. Okay. No idea what's going on there. It's not handling the transparency very well. I can see them though. Let me do an adjustment. I mean, but that's the skeletal structure right there. You can barely see the outlines. Okay, let's make it a little bit more opaque so we can see what we're doing. Oh, come on, Flash. So we just go into any one of these sprites here and we'll change the color. Slightly alpha. All right, let's try it again. It's still imported it kind of wacky. All right, let's take this. Let's remove the alpha. Maybe it just doesn't like the alpha channel. We'll make this a little thicker. Okay, so it's just not liking the fill. But there is my character with the joints and stuff. Let's see how it moves. My fat character. Or is it me that I'm missing something? That's my hip, right? Oh, okay. I am missing a hip. Let's give it a hip. Let's see what happens now. I'm pretty sure that doesn't have anything to do with the quality of the artwork though. We'll find out. Okay, it has a hip now. Let's take a look. So that gives you an idea of how this shape of a character would interact, where his joints would be. This is a really quick way to, you know, try out different body types, different body modifications and stuff, and see how like the arms would look or whatever. And you just, you know, you just use your own imagination as far as filling in the blanks. But that's the body structure right there. Big old hip, legs, little stubby feet. That's where the joints interact with themselves. And if we go in here into the, ooh, this is something I didn't check yesterday, because if they're somehow trying to sweep the G2 stuff, okay, yeah, it's still here. Did they remove the 3D editor? That would suck. So there's the arm. You can see the joint along the shoulder. So since he's fat, his arms should kind of be out here a little bit stretched out as he walks. Yeah, I think this is probably gonna work just fine. I just gotta fill in the blanks now, you know? Why do they say that this is so difficult? I mean, this literally took me, I don't know, maybe, well, I've been streaming for less than an hour. So just getting this kind of working and seeing how it moves and stuff. I don't know, but oh well, not my problem. As long as this stuff is still supported, I'm kind of happy. Let's grab an animation, a 3D motion. Yeah, the movement reads just fine. I think I know what's happening with the fills though. There used to be a bug that was here whenever you use these outlines. It doesn't seem to support them very well in most cases. So let me see if that is the case. Insert, modify, shape, convert lines to fills. We're gonna make this a bit transparent. And we're going to make that a bit transparent. Just to see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I was actually looking at the Illustrator and the Illustrator template this morning, and this is for the whatchamacallit, the G3 characters. I'm gonna open one of them. Man, there is an insane number of layers and things you gotta keep track of, and I honestly don't blame the developers that are using these templates to create original characters or original characters per se, because they're really, it's I can see that it's a pain in the ass to try to do your own bone structures and stuff. So they're kind of, and look at this. to do all this, keep track of all of that and the naming conventions and everything, it's easier to just use whatever template Reallusion created and just, you know, draw over the sprites. And the end result is that any character, no matter what you do, is going to have the same bone structure, it's going to look the same, and it's going to, they end up looking the same, you know. I just don't blame them for not having that ability to go outside of that comfort zone and create original characters. Yeah, I was able to bring in there's obviously a bug here with their ability to support those outlines. And now that I converted everything to a fill, I can see the transparent blue color that I created and the transparent black. So, yeah, good luck having them fix that, Ibis. All right, let's play around with this now. So, I don't want them to have an actual neck, but the rig requires it to have a neck. I'm gonna Control Z to get my own joint systems back in here before I started modifying them. It's too dark. Oops. Okay. So for all intents and purposes, I have a working rig in the body type that seems to want to work for me. So let's see if we can work with this torso here. So I'm just kind of play around with it. Got driven crazy was all the layering and folders. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. this is gonna be the neck. He's got a huge neck and sort of a hunchback type of thing going on. No, it's a little chilly, but not really cold. It's no, it's actually not that bad. It's just swampy and it's been raining a lot. I've been to Missouri. I've been to Colorado, up in the mountains and stuff, and I know what it is to walk around in the snow on a tank top and feel perfectly fine. It's just Houston is it's a completely different monster. It's got that sticky, cold, wet temperature that just kind of digs into your bones, and you're like, I don't know, you're like two temperatures. You go inside and you feel like a microwave burrito. You're like all warm because you're inside the house now, but you're still all cold in the inside. It's like, ugh. I'm gonna have to make some custom motions for fat people, so that it can make that clearance of the walk cycle. Because obviously, any random person who really just kind of drops a walk cycle on a rig like this, you're gonna end up with some clipping of the body parts as they pass through the fat portions and stuff, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, this shit sucks." But if you make them walk like a fat person, I mean, it should clear all those little body parts. I mean, you can do an offset thing once you put the motion in it. You can go into the 3D editor and just kind of move the bones around in the first frame, and it maintains that offset for the rest of the animation. So it can be done, but most people just don't see that. That hip is going to have to be invisible so it doesn't clip against this, just like the neck. I can see that working. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Should this chest be over the belly or the belly over the chest? Huh. Double, maybe even triple chins. was about to say something, but we'll keep it PG. You can say it. If I don't keep it PG, I don't expect anybody else to either, so. I need to fix my little stream deck. I miss all my little shortcut keys. You have on a white shirt that don't fit to cover nice rebelling. I actually been wanting to make this since I've been working with Unreal Engine and stuff, and I've been itching to make like a fighting game, like a 2D fighting game, sort of a parody of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but kind of a statement on American consumerism, and it would be called Black Friday. And I would have like the most stereotypical people fighting like in front of like retail stores and electronic stores, Best Buy or whatever, fighting over big screen TVs, and you would have like the millennial fighting against the Whole Foods vegan versus the food stamp baby mama. Just make it like super stereotypical and ghetto and love them both. A little see-through. Oh, but it should say regardless of emotion you. Okay. I keep reading that message. Yeah, that's the classics. Yeah, I remember that. The level with the spikes at the bottom. Sindel level, but it was one of the subway. Yeah. I like that whole thing with that pit with the spikes at the bottom, and when you unlock that green guy, the scorpion. That was always like what I would always try to do that. Didn't always work. But that's what I used to spend all my quarters on, trying to do that. Oh, I left the little things in there. You set this as a guide so they don't get exported. I don't think he was in the new movie. It's a pretty decent movie, though. I thought they did a good job. I heard a lot of bad reviews on it, but I liked it. I like that new Monsters movie also. Rob Zombie Monsters. That one got a lot of hate, and I don't know why. I thought he did a great job. I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan. I mean, not particularly a big fan of his music. I think I heard that one song that goes raw 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 raw. But aside from that, I never thought anything much of those horror movies that he's made, and or his music, and this thing comes out, and I thought it was great. It was perfectly campy. You know, Herman Munster is not really supposed to be funny enough to make you like laugh out loud. I mean, that's his character. He thinks he's funny. He makes himself laugh like a bad comedian, like that Joker movie. He makes himself laugh. You know, when he gets on stage and tells jokes. So I just think people don't get it. You know. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's like trailer trash horror films. It's like I guess that's what scares him the most. I don't know. No, but I really did like that that Monsters movie. I thought it was great. Uh, Internet though, internet hated it. How do I get rid of this? I saw a part, like first 15, 20 minutes of that first Halloween movie that he made, and no, I mean I walked away from it. It just didn't keep me there. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes you find something that just kind of gets you though, where you least expect it. I've never been a big fan of like fantasy stuff, dragons, magic. I think the cheapest thing that you can do in storytelling is make a story that uses magic, because I mean that's the solution to everything. How did he get out of that, you know, problem or whatever it was? Oh, magic. How did he solve the mystery? Magic. How did he do this? Magic. That's stupid. It's lazy writing. It's just like a lazy trope, and so I never liked anything with magic, Harry Potter, crap like that. Um, it's just I think it's just too easy. It's like that's the solution to everything. You solve it with magic, and I don't know. But there once was this time where I thought I had pretty much seen everything on Netflix, and I was bored. And I can stand like medieval stuff, King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, that type of thing, medieval things. I'm fine with it. So I started watching this little show called Game of Thrones, and I wasn't into it. But then it's like, oh shit, there's zombies in this thing. Oh crap, there's it's yeah, it's kind of like a medieval King Arthur type of thing, and they like slowly start introducing like towards the middle of the first season, they start introducing little hints that there might be magic, but not really. They might be dragons, but not really. But by the time they do that, I was already invested. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I'm watching this. So that's how Game of Thrones got me. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but damn, man, it snuck in there. They tricked me. Yeah. Well, the like I said, like That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to watch Game of Thrones. I just never been a bit. I managed to force myself to watch the Lord of the Rings just because I didn't want to be behind the whole pop culture thing. But it literally took me 2 weeks watching like 30 minutes at a time. The first one, and then of course by the time I got around to watching the next segment, I had already forgotten what I had seen, so I had to rewatch again some of the foot. It was grueling, man. I forced myself to watch it so I know what it's about and everything, but I could not get into it. I give you kudos for sitting through that. I think it was like what 4 hours. That was just the first movie. I didn't really see the rest of them. I've seen some of the special effects montages that they come up with how they did some of the motion capture and things like that on that, man. That's pretty good work though. Left leg. So all I'm doing right now is I am just kind of modifying each pre-built joint that I made, every pre-built body part that I made with those little circles, and just going back and forth and testing it as I go. Rather than just trying to design the whole character at once. No magic and dragons for Ibis, that's right. Magic. He was at the bottom of the ocean, chained up with an inside of a cement block, and he was surrounded by 100 alligators and in a pit of piranhas. How did he get out? Magic. Doesn't seem too bad so far. If we push these sprites below that giant belly, push them all the way to the back, maybe we can force it to stay under the belly without having to do any masking. Well, Houdini was an escape artist. He wasn't magic. I'm okay with Houdini. Okay. I'm sure there's a way to make it. Well, I think it has to be done on the runtime. Yeah. It's if the runtime thing is still here. Did they get rid of the runtime editor? What the fuck? Oh, there it is. Oh, I was about to. Woo! Actually, sir, he went to an alternate time and dimension to traverse himself to another location in our world. No, some 13-year-old kid waved a little stick at him and goes, "Magic!" Yeah. I could have sworn the runtime composer had the layering thing. Face. What's the point of this? Sprite, add sprite, delete sprite, replace. Preview. Sprite. Joint mask. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do at all. I'm sure it's in here. It better be here. Layer editor. Below that, and that goes. Oops, send. Yeah, let's send it to the back, and then let's send that to the back as well. And let's drop a quick animated sequence just to kind of see. Nope. Layering didn't work. Should have. Or maybe it overrode it. Let's try it again. Seems to only want to do one. There we go. Okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah, there kind of is a way to keep those legs under the belly. Fix that little. Joint mask. You don't need it. Okay. And of course, a lot of that sprite switching also has to do with the other angles. Magic. That's what I'm going to use from now on. How'd you do that? It's magic. I'm surprised at the amount of work I've been able to get done by live streaming the progress. It just makes the time go by so much faster. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's just undiagnosed ADD or something. But I have like the most difficult time staying focused sometimes on tasks. You know, another thing about working in this particular technique where I basically laid out the joints before anything else is that from the start, the joints have that little X, that registration point exactly where it needs to be for the rotations to take place. That's a big benefit, I think. So this is another thing that anybody doing this type of characters should keep in mind. When you're doing these like this circle joint system thing, you know, one of them is like a socket, and the other one, I mean, one of them is like, you know, yeah, like a socket, and the other one's kind of like a cup. And the cup goes over the socket so that when it rotates, it should give you a pretty good articulation when you think of it in that format. I'm going to show you. So see that black outline, pretty much unbroken. Look at the way that it interacts on that edge right there. So when you do the perfect circle, it should be like pretty solid as far as the rotation, the articulation. On this one, I think I went outside of the thing a little bit. Let me try that. Oops. Yeah. Look at that leg. That came out almost perfect. I mean, I could, just for the sake of having it not look so crappy without much effort, I could chop off a piece from here to here. But it'll just kind of creep back on me later on when I put clothes on them. It just so it doesn't look so jarring. Wish there was a way to make that belly just kind of bounce, man. Just go boing, boing, boing. Maybe there's a way to exploit that little, one of those new features. It's probably not exclusive to G3 characters. The one with the follow through movement or whatever they call it. Okay, this foot might be a little bit tricky. I don't know. I'm trying to get an idea, because this is technically the ankle. So maybe the foot should be down here. I don't know. Through that. Should I give him 3 toes or a full foot? Needs to be chubby. Has to be a chubby foot. gonna go outside of that joint so that this could create a natural, whatever the hell that bone is called. Maybe he should have small feet. Yeah, smaller feet. Chubby, but smaller. Well, like I said, this is probably something that I'm gonna be working on for the next few days. I don't know. I'm planning on taking my time and actually making him like a AAA type character. You know, I don't. This one is not for tech demo purposes. This one is definitely gonna have an artistic showcase type purpose behind it. So I want it to look really good. I want it to behave really good. So for this particular character, I'm definitely gonna take my time in designing and getting him to work properly. Primarily because I also want to show off the G2 character structure and just kind of show people what they're missing and you know show Real Illusion, you know what it is that they're trying to sweep under the rug, and hopefully people will demand this type of quality work or quality characters, you know, out of the product, you know, and I don't know. Cartoon Animator 5. I don't really think one way or the other of it. Whatever they did, some of the features in there are really amazing, and I can't use them, but it's a step in the right direction. I saw that the G3 characters have like 3 facial angles, so hey, they're moving towards it. So, and I honestly don't care what format or what software they're trying to push as far as the development program, as long as it's accessible and it's actually there, you know, because multidimensional characters, and that's the object, you know, that's what Real Illusion has that nobody else has, and they're ignoring it. So dumb. Why did I bother putting a fingernail? That's totally not necessary. Toenail, not fingernail. I'm gonna try something that I've never tried before. I'm gonna do an inverted joint. I want to keep that outline there, but I want to be able to show that other joint, that line that I put up there, so it doesn't interfere with it. Let's see if that even works. It's worth the experiment. Turn that to guide and hide it. Weird. Doesn't necessarily want to play well. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it like that for now. I don't like that line, the way it looks. I might just have to get rid of that ankle line. Maybe move it up some. That might work. I think I have to come back and tweak little pieces here and there. I don't think I need to do that inverted thing. I'm just gonna keep it simple, straight. Yeah, that does look a little bit more natural though. Those little, the little tips. So, look at that. Can you imagine this fat guy doing ballerina style dances? Look at that foot. It's like a perfect joint. This dude's gonna be able to twinkle toe his way around. Twinkle toe his way around the dance floor. Some terrible stuff happening there. Stuff that I don't like. But the joints are flowing pretty damn good. Let's see here. Whoa, what's happening here? Well, that looks a little better. That's not bad. And then using a totally invisible hip joint. I mean, technically, I could make use of that hip joint for something else. Have it dangling between his legs or something. That'd be funny. Okay. Well, well, well. What's up, man? Did you finish your storyboard? I feel like I should be putting this joint way down here instead of up there. That might be something I have to change. What happened? Oh, yeah, yeah, I remember that. So basically, I'm working on a new rig. I decided I'm gonna make one. I got motivated from by doing yesterday's stream into going back to this, making another 2D rig. Yesterday's was more of a tech demo just to kind of show how everything worked and how to put it together. And I did manage to build an entire rig in one day, basically. This one is actually going to be one that I'm going to take my time with. It might take me a couple days, might take me a couple weeks, I don't know. But I'm planning on taking my time with this one and just kind of like, really go all out with the design, the colors, and the rendering quality. Normally, when I do a tutorial or when I do like a tech demo or something, I try to use just like the basic artwork, just enough to get the idea across and everything. But I hardly ever go on for the full-on artwork, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on in this particular rig. So I am gonna take my time with it, and we'll see how long it takes. I don't know. This might just be like a little series of streams, a couple hours a day. But definitely not one of those that I plan on doing on a single stream in a single day. Are you streaming right now, One Gun? shit. All right. So what are you working on in Blender? Man, I need to figure out a way to export the damn textures of any selected item in Unreal so that I can edit them outside, whether it's in Blender or you know Substance Painter or whatever, and then like so that I can have the ability to change them into like a more painterly thing, because I mean I want my film realistically I want my film to look more like that Spider-Verse movie. I wanted to have that cartoonish quality to it, but I don't know, man. I can't figure that out yet. And if I can't figure it out, then I'm gonna stick with that Uncanny Valley look. But it's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, but the problem is I would have to do the thing in Blender. You know, all those particle effects, the lighting, I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to speak too early. Maybe that's something I gotta check out before I kind of turn it down. Because I even thought about just doing it inside of iClone, and I mean, those characters look freaking amazing in iClone. The characters come out good. I even have this technique where, without any shaders, I can make my characters look like flat 2D cartoons. But then we get into the backgrounds, and I can't bring any of the lighting effects, any of the lighting elements. I'm very limited as to what the environments can be, even though I can get the characters to look really great. So, but yeah, I mean, even doing it inside of just iClone by itself seems to be like a realistic thing. Yeah, yeah, I can't criticize it too much because I really haven't given it the opportunity to actually do what it does for me, and I do know that in Blender I won't be able to use my virtual camera for exporting everything in real time. So that's something I have to be willing to give up. But who knows? Maybe, the quality of it won't need it. I could just render out. I don't know. I'm going to give it a chance. When I get to that bridge, I'll jump it. Ooh, something wacky going on there. No, I'm actually gonna quit early. I was only planning on doing 2 hours. I think I've done some pretty good progress. I'm gonna finish the hands, and I'm gonna finish that head, and I'm gonna call it a day. So yeah. And for the hands, I'm just gonna make like basic mitts, like mittens. I don't I don't think I need to worry too much about fingers or anything because ultimately this is for like a Santa Claus character, and I'm just gonna stick with mittens. Later on, if there's a need for a different type of derivative character, I can see like a comedic Jason from Halloween. Do you guys remember that video game Slaughterhouse? This guy kind of has that body type. Now that I think of it, put a hockey mask on him. That'd be kind of cool. Hey, I'm not making any promises that I won't be back later tonight. I mean, got nothing better to do. I'm pretty much working on my film full time now, and this is actually kind of a break from that. So I'm not. Yeah. But I gotta put in some hours on my film too, at some point today. Still working on the translations, separating the audio, the dialogue for the translated stuff. And I think I have some final recordings to do on Thursday or Friday. You have a new GPU, One Gun? Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm actually kind of now I'm a little bit kind of like, maybe if I would have waited a few more months, could have gotten the RTX 4090. But I mean, I'm not sweating it. It's still a pretty good GPU. I got the 3090 Ti. It's a pretty good GPU, and I guess I don't really have much of a buyer's remorse other than the price. I think I paid close to $2,000 for it, and the 4090 is like 1,500. Although people are still having a hard time getting their hands on it. I heard that. Yeah, that's true. So it might not be a bad idea. You just kind of let that play out. See if there's stuff that needs to be done for them to stabilize those things. But technically, I mean, I guess I could have waited, period, to buy any kind of new GPU. Um, I guess I'm kind of like Sphinx in that case, like she was talking about earlier. She needs to be able to see like the pretty graphics as she works. You know, she can't. I can't really. I find it difficult sometimes to kind of work with like the limited graphics or whatever, and so visualizing stuff and the best it can be sometimes it just helps. But I don't think I need any more than that because I guess the 4090 really is where it's for the 4K stuff. Uh, so far, it's I mean what I have now is working perfectly fine, except for yesterday's issue. I think I do have to upgrade my power supply. I had that with the 2070 Super that I used to have for the entire period that I had that thing set up. I guess I had it connected wrong. It has two sockets where you put in the power supply thing, and I had that coming out of a splitter from a single socket in the power supply. So whenever I would plug in USB devices, I never knew why until I saw that it would drain power, it would overload the system, and every now and then it would crash. It would just die. So once I took that out and switched it out, and I was reading, no, you got to plug those into individual power ports and split them out. Don't use a splitter because that causes too much of an overload. This one is connected that way, but I have a feeling it's still underpowered because the 3090 just requires more juice, and I didn't upgrade the power supply when I upgraded the GPU. When I talked about support about okay. Well, if you get low-end AMD card, it will have problems with iClone. It wasn't low-end. Was it 5700? Yeah, that they really want to push that the NVIDIA technology. Um, iClone doesn't work very well in one of the laptops that I have, and it's weird, and it's because of the AMD thing. God damn. Well, this is gonna be fun. Trying to figure out how to put a giant beard on this Santa Claus character. So far, the base structure kind of looks like a grown-up Eric Cartman. I hadn't even thought about that. I just wanted to be able to see the what's his pronouns. I gotta come up with some Santa Claus pronouns just to be on the safe side. Wow. How dare you do the voice for Santa Claus? You're not white. I saw a post about somebody had tweeted that unless you were Hispanic, you did not have a right to criticize that new Star Wars series. Like, what the fuck kind of thing is that? Andor, yeah. We're like, unless you're Hispanic, you cannot criticize Andor. Dude, what the fuck? I mean, stuff is just getting out of hand. Alright, well, this face is gonna be... What the hell does Santa look like under that stuff? I figure I start working on a Santa Claus now, because in case this is one of those projects that takes me all month to do, at least I'll finish it close to the start of December, and maybe I'll, put it up there somewhere for people to grab, and they can use it for their Christmas animations, and they'll have a whole month to play around with it, So I guess the nose would be there. I want to give them like a real skeletal structure. I want to have like the teeth that are part of the actual skull. So when the mouth opens, you can see teeth and stuff, and they don't move up and down like some weird Re-Illusion cartoon where the teeth go up and down as you talk. I mean, realistically, even in traditional animation, you never move the upper teeth. They're stuck to the skull. The only teeth that move is the ones that are connected to the jaw. So when the character opens and closes his mouth, only the bottom teeth should move. So I should be able to do like this weird expressions, like I got the teeth up here, and then just kind of get the bottom teeth go, And I want to be able to do like, I want to be able to do like some weird, crazy expressions with this character. Guess I also got to keep in mind this joint for this neck. That seems to be about right. So then at some point it'll have like a hat. He'll probably have like a hat. I'm hoping I'll be able to use the secondary motion for like stuff like this. That would be cool if they had that secondary motion available, so I can put it on like the beard and stuff. It's gonna take some doing. I'm not racist. I really wanted to get this. However, I cannot support the inaccuracy that compromised this character. Oh, shit. Did you guys know that in Mexican lore, the Santa Claus has a helper? He's a black guy called Black Peter. And if you're bad, like North Americans have the thing about if you're bad, Santa Claus leaves you a lump of coal. In Mexico, if you're bad, Black Peter steals all your candy and all your toys. And kids hate Black Peter. Fucking Mexico's racist, man. They've gotten racism pat down like so pat. I was talking to my friend the other day about that. It's like, when was the last time you saw like a Mexican black television star, a black singer from Mexico? You know, like I haven't seen one since like movies from the 1930s. You know. Black Peter sounds like Joe. You know what? This Santa Claus might actually work out. I mean, I can see the basic structure there. Yeah, it's got to have come from somewhere. You know, I'm pretty sure they didn't just come up with it. You know, it's one of those culture things, like polka music. Polka music is really big in Mexico. It's like, I didn't even know it wasn't from Mexico. Apparently, it's a German thing, but it caught on, and they take it on, and they make it their own. You know. Yeah, the Krampus thing, I don't know too much about it, but I've seen it. I've seen people post pictures of it, talk about it. I don't know much of the history behind that or where it comes from and stuff, but that sounds interesting. It's like a horror thing. Christmas horror. Christmas horror story. All right, let's get this face done, or at least like the basis for it. I think I'm just gonna work like on a skull type of thing, and through the mouths I'm going to build the jaw, going completely off book when it comes to the character structure, but I'm pretty sure it'll work. Pretty sure. This is probably going to be the weirdest head structure I've ever made, but you know, worst that can happen is that it won't work, and I'll just do a standard one later on. You know what? I'm going to do this as a symbol, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to try to replicate that like that. So I'm going to paint that face like that, paint that like that, go in here, F8, convert to symbol, and go inside of that. We'll bring out Toon Titan. We'll import that color. We'll use some kind of a gradient. And that should kind of give me what I'm looking for. Modify, transform, horizontal. So now that should kind of give me a idea of where this eye sockets will be. Sure, I put them in the center. Control G, Control K. It's aligned to the center of the stage. Perfect. And then we're going to give it some really creepy teeth. This is going to be really weird. And you guys probably won't get to see the result of this till tomorrow or the day after, but it's going to be really weird. So let's make some teeth right here. I'm not gonna make it perfect. It's gonna have like a crooked smile type of thing. Krampus was the shadow of Santa Claus that would get the worst of worst kids. So now you have to make Santa's counterpart. Ah, okay. Should have just gone for that. Yeah, you know what? If I finish doing this, if it doesn't take too long, I I might just go ahead and do like an elf or a Krampus or some additional stuff, Christmas related. There's plenty of time to do work on that stuff right now. Put this out on the marketplace, at toontitan.com or something. I think it would give people plenty of time to buy them and download them and use it for their little Christmas parodies or whatever they do. You have a whole month to come up with them, and rather than waiting till actual Christmas season. From a commercial aspect, I guess that makes more sense. Yep. But there's a method to my madness. Because I have that face now. And at least in theory, in hypothesis, I should be able to make a separate, what the hell is that? A separate jaw that'll cover that up. Let me kind of show you, give you an idea of what it is that I'm trying to do. I'm not going to do it right now as a permanent thing, but as a quick demo. We do something like this. As a quick demo, if we were to make the mouth like a separate sprite on top of the skull, we should be able to make the mouth simply by opening it up like this. And it would allow for like more expressiveness. I don't know. It's theoretical. It's magic. You know, it might work. I don't know. But when characters talk, they talk by moving their jaw, their bottom jaw. Those upper teeth never move, which is why Reallusion character animation stuff looks really weird. But, you know, something like this. This is what I'm thinking. I'm going to try to make this work. So it'll be something that hasn't been really seen before in Cartoon Animator or any kind of digital puppeteering type thing. If you have no reason, GB Production, if you have no reason to upgrade, I don't recommend it. It just depends on your workflow. If you've been using G3 characters, then by all means upgrade. Almost every new feature that they added is centered around those G3 characters. The SVG stuff definitely works a little bit better than the traditional image-based stuff from what I saw, but it's still doing some kind of weird rasterization to the SVG graphics, and it gets pixelated and blurry just as the images does, but not as bad. It just depends on what you've been doing with the program. I bought it because I use it, and it helps me just to know all the stuff. And I put out a little hack video. If you're gonna buy it, if you really want to buy it, they're having a 10% off special right now. As part of the thing, it automatically goes in there. And if you already bought something before, like a previous version of the program, so you'll get it for $99. So that's $50 off. Then on top of that, they're having their little 10% off. And then on top of that, you add the coupon code CTA, or I think it's CA. It's probably CTA 10 off, I think it is. You can see it when you install the trial. You add that one, and it'll kind of stack up another 10% on there. So yeah, you can get it for as low as like $80 right now if you really like put your mind into it and if you're dead set on getting it. You know, I don't see a problem with screwing them over like that. I don't think they thought about like the stacking of the coupon codes, but yeah, I mean right now would be probably the best time to do it because they haven't caught on to it yet, and as soon as they do, I'm sure they're gonna pull something together like, no, you can't combine coupons. But no, I mean unless you've already been using it and you actually do use G3 characters and stuff, I don't see a big need for upgrading. The G2 character stuff seems to work exactly the same way. So if that's what you use, I would probably just stick with that. I would have been just sticking with that myself. But because of what I do or whatever, I think I might as well just get it and at least it allows me to speak freely because I'm not being sponsored. They didn't give me a free copy. I'm not a beta tester. I'm like, motherfucker, I paid for this thing. I have the right to talk shit as much as I want, Yeah. Well, I mean, if you use G3 figures, man, I mean, don't be put off just because you saw my video. If you are using G3 characters, there's a lot of benefits to that. Ibis the listening. Okay, I didn't get that one. The listening. Is that like that movie Taken, but when you say Tooken 2, the tookening. Oh, they're listening. I hope they're listening, man. I mean, it sucks that like the people who really use their products, and I mean, like people like me, if we criticize this product, like or like yourself and One Gun, if we criticize, iClone or whatever, it's because we are like power users. We expect better. We want it to work better. We could, yeah, like some people have told me, well, why don't you do something else? Why don't you move something else? You don't have to do it. That's not the point. Yes, I could use a different software. I love these softwares. I want these softwares to be better, So I have a right to criticize them. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I just went ahead and paid for it. I saw the little opportunity to just kind of hack that coupon code thing, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna buy it, and then that video that I did last night, when I got drunk in. I mean, I must have found like 17 bugs in that sucker, Yeah, if I can get this mouth to work, this is gonna be a really sweet feature. I mean, I think it's like up to us, if you really like the product, as much as we criticize it, you gotta be verbal about it. Eventually they'll budge and they'll listen to us, and maybe they'll actually focus a little bit back on the actual power users, because the majority of the user base, I understand, it's hobbyists, it's people who just want to use drag and drop things and buy their shit from Gary Pie and call it a day, Not that there's anything wrong with that, it is what it is. But there just happens to be a lot of people who really do want to create original stuff. You can't make a series and expect to copyright that using somebody else's characters. Yeah, that's what I kind of said. That's what I kind of said. Take a look at one of my videos. I think I posted it earlier today. It shows how I did it. But you got to do it right now because I think they're having that fall special where it automatically applies the 10% off, and then it has the coupon code. So it's really easy also to be like, oh, I already got the 10% off. No, you can put the additional coupon code on that sucker. So $80 is not that bad. Ah, cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, so $80 is not that bad, really. I'll take a hit for that. And And I'll continue to be vocal about it. There's like a layer here that is kind of sneaking in. Where's that layer coming from? So I enable this. Oh, okay. Well, no, it is set to guide. I need to set that one as a guide. So now we're still doing it. Wow, why is it doing that? Oh, maybe it's an upper layer? There it is. Exactly. Exactly. You know, and that's the way I see it. You know, is there's been a few people who have come up to me and they're like, you know, why you talk so much shit about this product? Why don't you just use something else? You don't have to use it. And like, man, you know what? That's not the point. The point is, I do use it. You know, I want to continue using it. I want it to be better. You know, it can be better. This G2 character structure is so advanced. Adobe Animate hasn't been able to figure this out yet. You know, other software are not doing it. You know, it's so advanced, and they came up with it like 4, 5, 6 years ago, and they're sweeping it under the rug. They're making it basic. I don't understand the thinking behind that. That thing looks so horrible like that. Wow, that looks freaking... That's like the thing of nightmares, dude. Am I going to be able to make something out of that? Why do I like G2 over G3? Well, I'll show you. I mean, it's very simple. Here's a G2 character. While we wait for it to load. All right, there's a G2 character. And here is a G3 character. I'm not going to use this one because this one only has one angle. So that's basically a G3 right now. So you got your G3 right there. You got your G2 right there. Let's look for a motion. Just a basic motion. I'm going to apply that same motion to both characters. So there's the two characters side by side. And that's just one of the basic motions that they have. Look at the angle of the hands. Look at the feet. Look at the... All right. Look, I can go further than that. I can change the angle. Look, I can go further than that. I can change the angle again. Look, I can go further than that. Change the angle one more time. I mean, is it really a question, you know, what is the more superior format? I can zoom in on the G2 character. Oops. Well, you're aware of this because you brought it up earlier. Look, perfectly crisp, resolution independent line work. No matter what. This character, I'm sure, they limited the number of colors, I guess, just to make it more efficient. And I'm sure this is an SVG. This is an SVG file. Why the fuck is it blurry? Yeah, I mean, it just kind of speaks for itself. The whole thing was that it was very difficult for people to create their own G2 characters for a while. People didn't understand how to do it. I think, I mean, they could have come up with a plugin. I was able to create a plugin that sped up the workflow. So if anybody could have come up with an additional plugin for it, it could have been them to make the process easier. But their version of making things easier is to trim it down so that you only have one angle to work with. And realistically, the one angle characters, that's G1 characters. G1 characters are single angle characters. G3 characters are single angle characters. G1 characters were vector based, G3 characters were not. Realistically, G1 characters were more advanced than G3 characters for a while. They got a lot of special features now. They're kind of undisputed now when it comes to that comparison. Yeah. But it's so difficult. I mean, making G3 characters is so convoluted. There's layering, there's stuff like that. You cannot easily do custom body structures like this fat guy here. You literally, if you don't want to confuse yourself with all the layers and all that stuff, you pretty much just have to use their one template, which means that everybody's characters are gonna look like everybody else's characters. But if you really want to take your time with it and make all the layers and the naming conventions and all, I was trying to read the manual earlier because I know I bought this tool here I was trying to just kind of wrap my head around the structure and stuff, and man, all these crazy things that you gotta do. And I can't see myself working with Photoshop either. You know, if it's raster based, I don't want anything to do with it. You know, I want my stuff to be able to like be future proof. You know, like right now, 4K finally hit the big time, so it's kind of like the standard now. I should be able to just draw in a limited processing machine and create my content and be able to export it in 4K without losing any resolution. I can't do that with shit that I make with Photoshop. In 5 years from now, maybe 6 years, it'll be 8K. I will be able to take that same character and export it out as 8K without any loss of resolution, you know? But, I mean, it's really simple. I mean, if you go pound for pound, I've been streaming today for about 3 hours. I managed to do this full first angle in less than an hour, really. And that was with me presenting and talking and stuff, and you know, And a G3 character is one angle. And that's going to take you 10 hours maybe for one angle. If you know what you're doing. So yeah, I just... The G2 character is definitely the more superior format. I just can't see myself working with G3 characters. I could take that back a little bit, you know. I couldn't see myself working with G3 characters before because of the raster-based images stuff. I can definitely see myself working with G3 characters now that it supports vector-based stuff. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm assuming that vector is vector. I might be able to sneak in some Flash-based vector files into the G3 character now. I'm gonna experiment with that tomorrow. But for talking head shots where the character is just talking, I mean, a lot of that tweening stuff that it does to move the head back and forth and the follow-through movement, that could come in handy. You know, theoretically, I could use my G2 character puppet for all the full body motions and 3D movements and stuff. And then when I have to cut away to a close-up where the character's just talking, facing the camera, doesn't need to turn around or anything, I could see myself using a G3 character for that. But then again, the G2 character does have the G2 plus facial thing. I might not want to make a second character for something that I might still be able to get away with the G2 plus. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna experiment tomorrow to see how far I can push the G3 stuff. Maybe I can sneak in some Flash-based sprites in there rather than the SVG, and you know, there might be something there because, you know, Flash supports animation, and like that character I built yesterday with that pumpkin, you know, had an animated flickering face, you know. You can't do that with SVG, but you can do that with nested sprites and Flash, and yeah, it's in there. It works, even though they're not documenting it. Might be, you know, it might actually be in our favor too for the next 2 years while they come up with the next version, because people who do take the time to figure out the G2 structure, oh yeah, man, I'm glad you came in and asked questions, you know. For people like us who really do like develop stuff and we want to work with this type of thing, if we take the time to like figure this out with the G2 stuff, even though there's like little to no documentation anymore, you're in a very interesting point in time where you could corner a market, you know, with so little information being out there. If you're producing these type of high quality characters that nobody else can actually make, you can make some really good money, man. Tanya, how you doing? Hey, I'm glad to have you here. You missed the whole thing, you know. We've been playing around with Cartoon Animator. I'm building a Santa Claus rig for. I'm gonna take my time with it. Hopefully, we'll be able to have this one out by Christmas and have people like do things with it. But I want to show off, you know, the G2 character stuff because it's definitely relevant. It's super advanced in comparison to anything they're doing right now. It just doesn't compare. So this is probably going to be like a little ongoing series, a couple hours a day, a couple hours every day. Eventually I'm going to have a nice Santa Claus rig here, hopefully before December. And yeah, technically I could probably do this within the next 3-4 days and it'll still be high quality, but I'm just going to take my time with it. I'm not going to rush it. They don't. Have you ever noticed, this is one of the things I was talking about yesterday in my drunken video. This thing here. This is like the most useless thing that's been here since Crazy Talk Animator 1. You can't change the background. You can't change anything about it. You can turn off the outline. You can change the date, the text on it. But how useful is this? Are people really like doing a lot of this type of things? Where they're doing like dialogues and they don't have a need for like an exclamation dialogue or a circle dialogue or you know, there's obviously a thing here that supports text. People are using Cartoon Animator to make films. Why can't I just use a text object to put the title of my film here? Why do I have to go into Photoshop to write out my text, import it as an image, and render it out as part of that, composite it? And it's stupid. There's obviously this thing here, and it's obviously a Flash object. This is kind of similar to what's going on with the characters, with the G2 characters, where you name an object, give it an instance name, and that's how you get the code to trigger. That's what they did here. But they forgot how to do it. They never published it. There's no way for me to make my own custom text boxes in Flash. But they continue to put it out there, taking this big old chunk of space in this toolbar for this one object here. That's like really dumb. Yes, yeah, the sky tool. It's crazy. And I just have a feeling that like they at first, I mean, I have a slight suspicion that at first what they used to do is they used to hire people like out of I'm exaggerating when I say this, like out of fiber, but you know, like off of those coder websites, you know, where you hire freelancers and stuff. I have a feeling that's how they managed to get the first one or two versions out there, and somehow they lost contact with the original coder and they don't know how to replicate it. I'm pretty sure something along those lines is what's happened, where a lot of the original technology has been lost. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see a much of the G1 characters around here. The Cartoon Animator 5, the default stuff, the default characters. Here's the actors tab, human. There's not a single G2 character here. If you go into the freebie section, they have a bunny, and you will see a G2 character in there, but they're really like trying to bury that. That's so sad. And this guy is creeping me out, man. This freaking face. It's gonna look good though, if it works. If what I'm thinking is gonna work. Check this out, Tanya. What I'm trying to do with this face, and I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon. What I'm doing with the face is I'm gonna separate the skull. I'm gonna make the upper teeth part an embedded part of the skull. So when I do the separate mouths, and this is kind of theoretical right now, I don't know if it's gonna work. When I do the separate mouths, the mouths are only gonna contain like the cover for this and the jaw. So even in traditional animation, the teeth are not supposed to move up and down like they do right now, you know. They're supposed to be expressive, but they always stay with the skull. So when the character talks, only the bottom jaw is supposed to talk with the bottom teeth moving up and down. So this is kind of what I'm going for right here. Something that's going to look like this eventually, like in terms of the way he walks, I mean the way he talks. Should be able to come up with some good expressions and stuff. All right, well, 3 hours is more than I'm gonna do today. That's too long. I only wanted to do maybe two But this is good. I got more progress than I thought I would. We got to see some results. Tomorrow, I'm gonna work on another angle, and eventually I'm gonna build it up and do some coloring stuff. I'm not gonna promise you guys that I'm not gonna do some additional work offline. So maybe next time I start streaming, this guy's gonna look like really shiny and highly detailed. I don't know. Depends on how bored I get. But I hope you guys have a good evening. Don't pig out on that leftover Halloween candy, and I'll talk to you guys soon.